Initiating login sequence. Welcome to Alyx's world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. It's been a while since we got an interview from Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the owner of World Wrestling Entertainment. A billionaire, a self-made billionaire. The man who made the phrase, "You're fired." Very famous. The guy that gave birth to the Attitude Era. He takes credit for that, but let's be real. Paul Heyman, ECW did it first. But credit where credit is due. WWF, Vince McMahon, was the guy to bring it to the mainstream, to make it palpable for the mainstream. A man that's made hundreds, thousands of wrestlers rich. A guy, whether you like him or not, that made wrestling popular. I would not be here on this YouTube channel talking about WWE, about wrestling period, if Vincent Kennedy McMahon never existed. If he never went all in, no pun intended, with WrestleMania 1. If he didn't meet a Hulk Hogan. If he never bet on a Mark Calloway, an Undertaker. If he never bet on a Shawn Michaels, on a Bret Hart, on a Stone Cold Steve Austin, on a Rock. We would all not be here if it wasn't for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And I will always be grateful to him for creating what is known as professional wrestling. That being said, I've had my issues with the guy. And it all stems from one aspect of his life. Because you listen to this interview with Pat McAfee. By the way, congratulations. Big ups to Pat McAfee for landing Vince McMahon. Do you understand what a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity this is? Do you know how many interviews Vince McMahon has done? It ain't a lot. He hates interviews. Crazy, right? A man that's been doing this for 50-something years plus. I'm pretty sure I'm off. Probably 60. He's been doing this for a while. Since his 20s, he's been doing this. So 50 plus years. Let's go with that. You know, a man that's been doing hundreds of interviews and has led. This is the crazy part. Not only has Vince McMahon done hundreds of interviews, he's led hundreds of interviews. He used to lead interviews for his father, Vincent McMahon Sr. Vince McMahon Sr. So you would think of anybody, he would be good at interviews. But he hates them. So congrats to Pat McAfee for landing him. He might be one of the last people that gets to interview him in this type of space. Hopefully one day I will. I'll get a crack at Vince McMahon. But that's a pipe dream. We'll see though. Anything's possible. There is no limit. But it's crazy. Getting back to what I was saying. There's one aspect about Vince McMahon that makes me absolutely despise him. And if he was to just remove himself from that aspect, I will have nothing bad to say about him. Very smart, very wise, very upfront. Is really cool to talk to. This space that he was given on YouTube, he fit in like a goddamn glove. Now, again, he's done hundreds of these. So maybe he's just really good at answering the questions the right way because he's been fed these same questions thousands of times. All the time. So he knows what answers work and what answers don't. He has focus groups. He has certain people that he works with to make sure he's a millionaire. No, he's a billionaire. Understand, billionaires and millionaires do not live how we live. They have massive privilege. privileges and perks. Okay? He can lose $1 million today, he'll be okay. We lose $1 million, we will not be okay. Different people, different strokes. For me, $100 is a lot of money. Someone donates $100 to me right now, that could change my entire week. Vince McMahon, he sneezes $100. No, he sneezes thousands of dollars. He sneezes, $1,000. He'll never see it. He'll never see it. Different way of life. So for someone like me, who wants to get there, who wants to one day be a millionaire, billionaire, so on and so forth. I don't know what's the limit. I might create another alien, if we're honest. But yeah, man, it's always good to get inside the head of Vince McMahon. And it's always good to get these life lessons. It's always good to hear from his perspective the struggles he went through, what he had to do to get to where he is. Whether it's the right answers or not, and you can just tell which answers are rehearsed and which aren't. Because there were some genuinely honest, upfront answers he gave in this particular interview, and then the ones that were rehearsed, that you've heard before. I'll give you an example. We listened to our audience. Oh my God. Him and Stephanie kill me with that. Absolutely kill me. We, the WWE, listen to our audience. No, you don't. No, you don't. The show is geared to pleasing Vince. And if the crowd just so happens to like it, cool. But anytime you hear that answer, you know bullshit. Okay. There are other answers that he gives that people should just go. We do what's best for business. Okay. That's another one. Jesus Christ. But we talking about growing up, giving those life lessons. Those are great parts. Those are really vital conversations to have with anybody. I've had with my students. So I appreciate him for that. And we'll talk about those in a second. But I have a lot of issues when it comes to this interview. I thought overall it was a great interview. I want to point that out right now. I enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed it. Was it as good as the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast interview? Absolutely not. Not even close. Not even close. I might go back and rewatch that Stone Cold podcast interview just to compare it, because there was something off about this one. The Stone Cold podcast was different. Well, I'll tell you exactly what was different. And I gotta give Austin credit. Austin wasn't scared of Vince. Austin was ready to go to war with Vince. He was ready to confront Vince. He was ready to bite his head off if need be and ask him the tough questions. Pat McAfee, every 10 seconds. Thank you, Vince. You're the greatest, Vince. You're the greatest boss in the world. You're the greatest. Oh my God, I love your shoes. Vince McMahon's on my podcast. It's like, dude, pull it back. Fucking shit. You can just tell that, all right. And I'm not going to hate on him. When you have a man like Vince McMahon come on your podcast, it's going to do something to you. You're like, I never thought I would ever reach this point. So you're happy that he's there and you don't want to ruin it. So of course you're going to be a little bit extra sweet. But even Vince McMahon had to tell him to pull it back. There was a part in the interview where Pat, thank you, Vince. And Vince was like, you already thanked me. I was like, y'all, he doesn't like that. And I think that was part of the reason why I can't say this is just as good as the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. That's part of it. The other part was that although Pat McAfee brought up AEW, he brought up Saudi Arabia, he wasn't, I don't think he was direct enough. He didn't just come out and say, how do you feel about AEW? That question was never asked. He brought up AEW. He brought up competition. But he didn't specifically ask, how do you feel about AEW? Probably was told not to ask him that question specifically. Right? But he brought up competition, which I thought was hilarious. And you know, Vince McMahon was like, I love confrontation. I'm one of the only few people in this world that loves confrontation. Really? You do? What Vince really means to say is he loves winning and despises losing. He hates losing. He is a sore loser. But I also have to consider the fact that I don't work for Vince McMahon. Stone Cold Steve Austin kinda doesn't work. Nah, he's at a point in his life where he can do whatever the hell he wants and act however he wants. So Austin could ask those questions to Vince. Pat isn't in a position where he can ask that question to Vince. Although, no, I'll take that back. Yes, he is. Mr. I made myself a millionaire over time. Pat is actually in a position to just ask Vince straight up what's going on here. And to me, it was like he was scared of Vince. That, along with the same old rehearsed answers, him dodging questions, not really giving us upfront, honest to God opinions, made this a B, maybe even a B- interview. It was good. I just feel like if I didn't watch this interview, I don't feel like I would have missed anything. It was good to listen to Vince, see him in that environment, let his hair down, throw out F-bombs. It was good to see that. It's good to see him show a little bit of that humanity side. But in terms of like, I want to know what Vince McMahon feels about AEW. I want to know why Vince McMahon loves going to business with Saudi Arabia. I want to know, like, you know, like what's your opinions on this and that? Why did you release all these people? Really, like, you had main event players like Keith Lee, and like those are the questions I want to know about. We didn't really get that. But what we did get was Vince McMahon announcing that he is going to induct The Undertaker into the Hall of Fame, which is awesome. We'll talk about that first. What we got is great life advice, which is important to have. We got to see Vince cuss up a storm, which is nice to have. I don't really know if this interview is going to go down as a groundbreaking interview. I think people will talk about it within a week. We're just moving on. But we're here. We're going to go ahead and just kind of go over some things. I'm not going to recap the entire interview. I just want to touch on a few points, talk about the things I didn't like, and then let you guys go crazy in the comments and the live chat. But as always, if this is the first time you're watching me and you like what I have to say, do me a solid favor. First off, welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host, Alyx, just Alyx. Like the video, subscribe, and click the bell to catch all my content when it comes out. While you're at it, help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership today. Click that join button and get an opportunity to request a video of your choosing. Whether it's a hot topic, maybe it's a reaction, or maybe it's a review. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at Just Alyx Central. Also, give me a follow on Instagram and give me a follow on Spotify. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, and yes, Super Chats are officially on. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast to get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalyxsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi. And yes, get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees. Get you an old school Deluxe Man t-shirt. Get you a new school Alyx's World t-shirt, but most importantly, get you a blonde hair, a blue eyes, and an apple pie. America, it's the remix t-shirt made by It's Genox and Firestar Heart. All of this down below in the description box. And if you're a fan of music, how's about you get yourself Amazon Music Unlimited? So we'll get a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll get to some... Wait! Today's video is sponsored by Amazon Music Unlimited, featuring 70 million songs and thousands of expert playlists.
With Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song, anytime, anywhere, on all your devices. Smartphone, tablet, PC, Fire TV, and even Amazon Echo. Today, if you sign up using the link getamazonmusic.com, just Alyx, you'll get a 90-day free trial that you can cancel at any time. Following that, you'll be paying a small $7.99 that includes no ads and no interruptions. Take advantage of this opportunity today using getamazonmusic.com, just Alyx, in the description below.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I am looking at over 100 people live. Okay, that's what I like to see. That's a good audience to have, and it's growing. So here's the thing, though. We got over 100 people, but we're at 47 likes. Get these likes up, y'all. I'm gonna keep pushing these likes. The more likes we have, the more opportunities I will get to be recommended to a larger audience here on YouTube. So please hit that like button. Show some love to the moderators. Ultra, Shadow 97, Firestar Heart, Elias, Damian, Guys of the Hawk. Who help keep this a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I don't see any super chats yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it on in case y'all want to donate. But let's go ahead and give the shout outs. King of Heco Mundo, the winner of the, I believe it's Wrestle Rumble Pick'em contest. You gotta send me your email, dude. Send me your email. If you can't get it to me, I'm gonna have to choose someone else. But he did tell me, and this is sad to hear, he is a victim of identity theft. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. That's crazy. King of Heco Mundo is a victim of identity theft. I hope you get that worked out. But if you manage to get an email before Saturday, I'll be able to get that to you. But if you can't get me your stuff, I'm gonna have to do another contest on Saturday, and it will be like a Twitter exclusive or something like that. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, pray for him. Hopefully it works out. We got Joe, Imam Arredondo, the lovely Miss Teresita, Zachary Hain, Ethan Parker, New Japan Pro Wrestling Girl, Khalil does everything. Everything? Everything. The 808 Keone. Oh, Lord. He's here. Hide the wives, hide the kids. Malik Hiltz is in the building. Lord have mercy. I'm so glad he didn't win the contest. Agus Chaos. Is it Hasten Terrell? Is it Hassan Terrell or Hasten Terrell? I think it's Hasten Terrell. Well, welcome, Mr. Terrell. Sam 3. Zane Savage is in the house. We also got, okay, they coming in now. Robert Brown. Oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs. We also, I'm scrolling down now to be sure I catch everybody. Quentin Blackman, Christopher Carter, Tony Lopez, Travis Johnson, Pittman's Pitt, Anthony Watt, Kobayashi in the house, Hades Kobayashi, Brett from Seattle, or as you guys know him as, the former Brett Siebenhaar, something like that. I'm walking.
Pat versus Sabutna forever dream match lol.
Sabutine forever. I don't know, y'all. Like, I like him. I really, really do. But I don't know anymore. It's crazy. I guess when you're working for Vince, you gotta have a certain attitude. Otherwise, it'll just be hell. We'll see. Where was I? I lost my spot. Fab76. Hopefully I don't end up repeating some names. Rachel Buck, DD Original 31. Let's do one more. I do want to get started. So the last one's gonna go to and soon to be. Welcome everybody. Over 100 people in here. 55 likes. Get these likes up, dag nabbit. I want to see that like count skyrocket, if you know what I mean. So, a lot of people are asking me to talk about Cody Rhodes. They're asking me to talk about Nia Jax. We're going to hit that up tomorrow. I mean, I'll touch on it in the post-show hangout if you want me to talk about it. But in terms of this podcast, Vince McMahon, Pat McAfee. That's what we're going to focus on. I will be back up here tomorrow night after SmackDown and Rampage, because Rampage is live tomorrow, so I'll be talking about that. You can ask me about Cody. You can ask me about Nia Jax. You can ask me about all of it, and we'll talk about it. Sounds good? Alright, so I am now pausing super chats. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. How did I feel about the interview with Vince McMahon on the Pat McAfee Show? I've already said it, but I'll say it again. Congratulations to Pat McAfee. I am beyond surprised. And even he is, clearly. I'm super surprised, though. Like, out of this world grab for Pat. I cannot believe he landed Vince McMahon. Again, you will never, ever see Vince McMahon do another interview like this with anyone else. So, if anything, I can cherish it. I can cherish this interview for that. Because I don't think he's doing another interview like this ever again. So that's good. Big grab for Pat McAfee. But in terms of what this did for the TV product, it didn't do a goddamn thing. Except, well, it did do one thing. It made it very clear that Vince McMahon is indeed out of touch with the product. He is. Because he didn't talk about it once. He didn't mention a single wrestler today. I didn't hear Seth Rollins. I didn't hear Kevin Owens. I didn't hear one name from this current generation. I heard Stone Cold Steve Austin. I heard The Undertaker. I heard Brock Lesnar. I didn't hear anyone. Not Sasha Banks, not Charlotte Flair, not Ronda Rousey. I didn't hear a single fucking person mentioned. Michael Cole was talked about more than anyone else. That's a freaking issue, y'all. If anyone ever argues to me that he's not out of touch, just listen to this interview. Vince McMahon is more in touch with himself, which is great. You need to be. Especially if you're a millionaire. You need to understand you more than anyone else. That is very important. But again, I gotta say it. If Vince McMahon was to just step away from the creative aspect of this, who was it that said Vince McMahon in creative is like a fly in the milk? Was that Zachary Hayne? Because Zachary Hayne in the live chat before the stream, we were talking. He said, I respect the hell out of Vince McMahon. I don't think you will find someone who doesn't respect Vince. But the fly in the milk is his creative aspect. He is awful at creative. Just terrible. He's still going to make money despite himself because he's a great businessman, great business mind. But in terms of what makes good TV, what was good back then, well, even for back then, his creative ideas were not at all that awesome. He is an awesome, 1000% awesome on-screen personality. He is great at playing a character. He's been doing it for 50 years plus. He better be. But no, like, that type of stuff, you don't just learn. You just gotta have that innate talent to do it. He's one of the best at it. Pat McAfee and his biggest Employee of the Year persona, that's the nicest way I can say kiss ass. Employee of the Year persona. You're the greatest heel of all time. You know, it's hard to not agree with that. When I think about greatest heels, he's definitely top 3. He better be top 10. If you make a list and Vince McMahon is not in your top 10, I don't take you seriously. Stop talking about wrestling. Something's wrong with you. If you make a top 10 heels list and Vince McMahon is nowhere near the top 10, don't talk to me about wrestling. Just don't. Go find some other crazy person that agrees with you and your viewpoint. Don't come over here because I think something's wrong with you. But yeah, like, you can't look at Vince McMahon and not say he's one of the greatest of all time in terms of being a villain. Top 3 for sure. Who would surpass him? I don't know. That's the hard part. It just depends on your perspective. And it depends on the year too. Man, that's hard. That's hard to pick someone better than Vince. So yeah, great on-screen personality. I think when it comes to this interview though, and we'll go ahead and get into it, there are only two things to take out of it. Vince McMahon is going to induct The Undertaker. He straight up, breaking news, he straight up announced it on this interview. He will induct The Undertaker in Dallas, Texas for the Hall of Fame. And to me, perfect. That is one of the top 5 people I would have had induct The Undertaker. And my top 5 picks are Kane. He was number 1. Vince. Shawn Michaels. Mick Foley. Stone Cold Steve Austin. So those are my top 5 picks. If Undertaker doesn't have those 5 people in his career, he wouldn't be a legend. I truly believe that. You can keep everyone else. You can keep Snuka. You can keep Giant Gonzalez. If Undertaker doesn't meet Mankind and tosses him off the cell, we wouldn't be here. If he never met Shawn Michaels, the whole stuff with DX, the Hell in a Cell match, we wouldn't be here. If he never met Vince McMahon, he would have never got the Undertaker gimmick. Right? Okay. He didn't meet Stone Cold Steve Austin and had that string of feuds and matches during the Attitude Era, we wouldn't be here. And most importantly, if he never met Kane, if The Undertaker never met Kane, that's gotta be Kane. If he never came out, ripped off the doors, I don't really think he would be where he is. Those 5 people helped get Taker to where he is today. So if anyone was going to induct him, it should have been one of those 5. And Vince said, I'll do it. Which is huge. Vince McMahon doesn't like giving people compliments. He doesn't like taking compliments. But he doesn't also like giving people compliments. He just doesn't. That's just who he is. So I know it's going to be hard. He's going to have to open his heart. He's going to have to be vulnerable, which he hates. He fucking hates it. So for Taker, sure. He wasn't vulnerable for Stone Cold Steve Austin. He didn't need to be. He's going to be vulnerable for Taker. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm cool with it. You will never ever hear me say no to Vince McMahon inducting somebody. I feel like, and this is for me too, when it comes to people who should be inducted by Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a given. You had to induct Stone Cold Steve Austin with Vince McMahon. You can't have Stone Cold Steve Austin without Vince. That one was a given. Taker, again, Taker's gimmick is the brainchild of Vince McMahon. We wouldn't be here with The Undertaker if Vince McMahon never existed. Yes, Taker made the gimmick. He turned it into the pop culture phenomenon, the transcendent character, easily the greatest gimmick of all time. Taker did that. But we wouldn't be here if Vince McMahon didn't come up with it. So, yeah, Taker being inducted by Vince makes sense. The other person, believe it or not, would have been Hulk Hogan, who he did not induct. I think the person... My stream crapped out. Wait, am I back? Okay, my stream had a hiccup there for about 2 seconds. I'm good though. We're good. Okay. Yeah. I think Hulk Hogan was inducted by, was it Mr. T? He was inducted by somebody, some celebrity. It wasn't Vince though. It should have been Vince. That should have been the right person to do it. But I'm pretty sure they were having whatever. Tit for tat. Yeah, I don't see him inducting anyone else. I think Taker will be the last person he inducts. He might induct Shane. At the same time, would he though? Would he induct Shane? Would he induct Stephanie? I don't know. I don't know about that. So yeah, that was great news. Vince McMahon inducting Undertaker, perfect. Perfect. The other big news that applies to what's going on nowadays is it's not really that big of a news. We kind of already knew. Pat McAfee is having a match at WrestleMania. He's going to have a match. Now, the match on paper right now is a match with Vince McMahon. I don't think that's the case. I don't see it happening. I see him having a match with Austin Theory while Vince is in his corner. Maybe they'll do like a 1-on-2 situation where Pat McAfee takes on Vince and Austin Theory. Okay. Sure. But I don't know. Like, I understand why they would have Vince for the marquee value. They're not selling out tickets. I think night 1, people tell me night 1 is doing very well, but it's not sold out. Night 2 is doing horribly. As of right now, guys, WrestleMania is a month away. Night 2, as of right now, is not doing very good. Night 1, I think, is pretty good. It's probably going to sell out. I don't know about night 2. So they need a marquee name of Vince McMahon. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's why they're doing that 2-for-1 sale, where if you buy a ticket for night 1, you can buy a ticket for night 2. Which is smart. That's actually how it should be. If you're doing 2 nights, they should get 2 tickets for the price of 1. But you let me know, like, what match do y'all want to see Pat McAfee have? I'm very curious to know where you guys sit in terms of Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee having a match. Sylvester Stallone. That's who inducted Hulk Hogan. Thank you. Sylvester Stallone. Because, of course, yeah, he got his big Hollywood breakout. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Thank you for that. Someone just said, Miss Teresita said he'll induct Roman Reigns. Will he though? I see. For me, if I'm Roman Reigns, The Rock inducts me. The Rock inducts me. Maybe he'll induct The Rock. That seems fitting. Maybe Austin. Nah, actually, Austin should induct The Rock. Yeah, never mind. Nah. Okay, we'll see. To me, Roman should be inducted by The Rock. Not Vince McMahon. But we'll see. All right. So, those are the only 2 pieces of news that apply to this modern day generation. That's it. The rest of the hour and 30 minutes, it's all about Vince and good life lessons. Let's get the positive stuff. Let's get the positive stuff out the way before I just go all in, no pun intended, on this bullshit. About his answers to AEW, about his answers to Saudi Arabia, about his answers to the modern generation, his family, and the cuts, the massive budget cuts. We're going to talk about those. Those 5 things we'll talk about later. But we got to give credit where credit is due when it comes to Vince McMahon. If you are someone who wants to be a millionaire, like me, he gives great advice. Great life lessons in this interview. And Pat McAfee even said it. One of the few things I agree with him on. Vince McMahon, anytime, not just him, but anytime you get to get information, advice from a billionaire, millionaire, no matter how small or big it is, it needs to be soaked up. I think everyone at some point in time should get advice from some person that's made it, that's a millionaire, that's famous, that's a celebrity. One thing that I appreciate Vince talking about is just this idea that the people who are successful just don't quit. They just don't quit. Because, just to bring up someone else who's a billionaire, Michael Jordan. Everyone thinks people like Vince McMahon, Michael Jordan were just born rich. No. Vince McMahon was born in a trailer. For a good portion of his childhood, he lived in a trailer. He was poor. He was broke. And that's what inspired him to be where he is today. And you'll get that same story all across the world. I guarantee you, 80% of the billionaires you meet, 80% of them, okay, that's actually a big number. A good portion of them will tell you they were born broke. Now, some of them were born millionaires. There are some that were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. A good portion of the billionaires, the same stories apply. We were born broke. So we were already at rock bottom. We were already here. So we can just go up. Those are the best stories. But the one thing they all have in common, Michael Jordan, Vince McMahon, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they fucked up multiple times. They learned how to fuck up the right way. Because the people who are rich, the people who become famous in this world are those who learn from their fuck ups. Okay, try it, didn't work. Try it, didn't work. Try it, didn't work. Michael Jordan said he had to miss 100,000 shots before he can actually learn how to make a three-pointer. Michael Jordan was terrible at playing, absolutely terrible at playing basketball. It wasn't until his senior year in college did he actually get good. So that means middle school, high school, fucking terrible. The first good portion of his college career, nothing special. That senior year, it clicked. And then Chicago Bulls and so on and so forth. I want to be like Mike Space Jam. Everybody get up, you know. Now he's Michael Jordan. World-class phenomenon. Helped elevate the NBA to new heights that he's never been before. But he had to start somewhere. Failed. Over and over. Vince McMahon? Hey, didn't do very well in high school. Said he hated school. Almost didn't graduate from college. Yes, he had a millionaire father, but he wasn't always the way he is. He had to learn. He had to fuck up. He had to fuck up, get his ass kicked, get his ass knocked down, and keep getting back up. Everyone just thinks Vince McMahon just woke up a great businessman. Nah, he had to. If I was to show you a list of all the failed businesses Vince McMahon had, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Because even when WWF was doing well, he was creating businesses that just flopped. Vince McMahon had to fail multiple times to get to where he is. But he didn't quit. And he learned from his mistakes. He talked about getting into a room. I forgot what story it was, but it had Jim Ross in there. And Jim Ross was taking a dump, and he had his feet on the... He had to put his feet on the toilet so they wouldn't see him so he could listen in. Funny story. And yes, he was taking a dump while in that position. Jesus Christ. But Vince McMahon was in a room with millionaires that literally told him, we want to off you. You know what that means, right? Off. Like, yeah, they threatened to kill him. Now, I don't know how true that story is, but it's Vince McMahon, so I believe him. Like, I don't think Vince McMahon would make up a story like that. That's scary. So, yeah, man, like, when the world tells you, quit, when the world says don't do it, no, you march to the beat of your own drum. And that's something as a person, especially for me, someone who's also been told, you're different, Alyx. I hate working for people. I hate having a boss. Well, let's be honest. Who here in this live chat loves having a boss? Who here in this live chat right now likes working under people, having people have power over you, telling you what to do, and then waking up one day in a bad mood, treating you like shit, and you have to deal with it because you need their money? No one here likes that. No one. Right? I'm just asking. But yeah, I'm someone that doesn't like having a boss. Vince didn't like it either. He hated it. So he said, okay, I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to be homeless. And that was Vince McMahon's mentality from day one. Long story short, here we are today, talking about how he got famous. So don't quit. Great life lesson. He talked about confrontation, and we'll talk more about that when we get to AEW. But I love what he had to say about knowing yourself through confrontation. You know, I'm going to paraphrase what he said. I'm not going to say exactly how he said it, but he said, if I get beat up, if I get into a fight, I get beat up, and I come out of it still alive, I won. That's a great way to look at it. Because if I'm able to come back from that fight, it didn't kill me. It made me stronger. Now I know I can handle that. So what are you going to do to me? Great advice. And that's something else too where, and I was told this by lots of grown-ups, people before me in a different way. Basically, I was told, don't seek confrontation, but don't run from it. You know what I mean? If confrontation comes knocking at your door, face it head on. Don't go looking for it, but don't run from it either. Because you don't know what you're able to handle. Every confrontation that comes to you, learn how to handle it, but don't go seeking it. Don't start the fight, finish it. Hey, if y'all like me and you grew up in this household, we don't start fights, but we finish it though, right? That's good. You need to understand what's your threshold. You can't grow as a person if you don't know how to handle confrontations. Simple as that. Cut your teeth. Know how to handle people. That's important. It's very important life lessons. What was one more he said? I'll give you one more and then we'll get to the juicy stuff. I'm kind of blanking on one that he said. It'll come back to me. But yeah, like, if you're just looking for good life lessons, something that will inspire you to be a better person, yeah, this is the interview for you. It was a good interview from that aspect. Okay, that's all the positive stuff I will say. If I remember the other positive, I'll talk about it. But I'm about to go in. I need to go in on Vince in this interview because it did exactly what I thought it would do. It did not address the current product. It didn't. It completely ignored what's happening on Raw and SmackDown, and it once and for all proved my biggest issue with Vince McMahon. He is out of touch with the current product. And this is what I will say before I even get into the aspects that really pissed me off about this interview in particular. Vince McMahon being out of touch, it wouldn't be an issue if he wasn't in creative control of the shows. If he didn't decide what goes on, if he wasn't the mastermind behind what's good TV. If Vince McMahon was just a dude that didn't like the product, but he didn't have creative control, my man, that is your preference. That is your taste. Thank you so much for what you've done. You cannot like it. There are people in this live chat, in my live chats, that I've seen for over a decade now, because I've been doing this for 10 years plus. I've seen people come up here and say WrestleMania 17 is the worst WrestleMania of all time. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is your issue, dude? Like, how can you say that? It's been done. But you know what? Does it affect my enjoyment? No. I side-eye them like, and I still side-eye people that say that. There are people that said that's overrated, that is overrated. People that say Austin and Rock ain't that good. Hey, they have that right to say it. Doesn't affect me. I still enjoy it. Because their opinions have no effect on my life. If they're not feeding you, funding you, or fucking you, hey, that's good advice. I just gave you that one for free. And this is something that I've had to learn myself. People can have their opinions. They can say whatever they want. They can have a certain way of thinking. They can look at things from a different perspective. If these people have no power over you, let them have it. If they're not feeding you, funding you, or fucking you, because those are the three sources of power. Three avenues of power. Avenue. If they're not doing any of that, let them have their opinion. It's just an opinion. They have no effect on you. But when you're in charge, of a creative show, like you're in charge of creative for a wrestling show, if you're in charge of people's livelihoods, you have an impact on their lives. And that was my biggest issue with this interview. We never truly confronted Vince McMahon about the main problem with the WWE, is that he doesn't understand that his product sucks. Either that he doesn't understand, like he's out of touch, or he's oblivious, or he knows it sucks and he doesn't care. And I wish we would have touched on that. Because I'll say it again. I've said it already 2 times. I'll say it one more time. If Vince McMahon was to say, I am stepping away from the creative process, I am hiring people, I'm bringing in Triple H or Shane McMahon to run the show, and I'm just going to be in the background running the business, I will have nothing but great things to say about Vince. But no, he has to bring in freaking I love you, Bruce Pritchard, to ruin shit. And the shows are awful. They're awful. He had nothing to say. Nothing, absolutely nothing about the current product. Didn't even mention Roman Reigns. Ridiculous. But, alright, let's get into it. The stuff I didn't like. AEW. He did talk about... He talked about AEW without talking about AEW. Because Pat McAfee talked about competition, and mentioned AEW and how they bought Ring of Honor. Like, all right. But Vince McMahon, he didn't comment on it. Rolled right over it. You know what he said instead? He said, I'm one of the few people in this world who enjoys confrontation. You're one of the few people, Vince? Oh, okay, so we got Tony Khan over here calling you out. Eric Bischoff calling you out. You was nowhere to be found. Bullshit. That's one of those rehearsed answers. You're supposed to say, I like competition. No, here's the thing. Vince loves winning. He hates losing. Oh my goodness. If y'all were alive during the 90s, when WCW was whooping that ass, Vince was furious. He was fuming at WCW whipping their ass every single week. Hated it. He hates losing. He loves winning. Oh, he fucking loves winning. But anytime he's put in a position to look bad and to lose, doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk about it. I mean, it's all right. I used to be a sore loser too when I was a child. I grew out of it. Yeah, like, he sees, and this is a toxic masculinity mentality as it is today, as it was back then. Like, people value you more if you're a winner. People put you on higher pedestals if you win. And if you lose, they treat you like shit. And that, I don't even want to say that was society back then. That's society now. Who here has friends that if you're playing a game and you're teammates with them, you start losing, they become fucking assholes to you because we're losing? Because they feel like us losing is telling people to treat them like shit. They get in this mindset and get triggered where they are pieces of shit or they're lower than others because they lose a game that has no effect in their life. I have friends like that. I had to get rid of them. I say, I can't play games with y'all. It's a game, dude. You know, have fun in losing. You should have fun regardless. Be a good loser. But an even greater, here's the thing. I forgot how the phrase went. I think it was something along the lines of be a good winner, but an even greater loser. Something along those lines. I'm going to have to look it up. Vince is a terrible loser. He hates losing. That's why he won't even mention AEW. He didn't even say the words AEW because he knows that AEW is stealing his young audience. Fucking hates them. Hates them, despises them. Fuck that company. Blood and guts. He will never mention AEW. Because AEW is actually doing something that he never thought another company would do. And that is impede on his market share. He now has another wrestling company out there that, and if you look at AEW recently, they're about to make a deal with HBO Max. So they're about to get a streaming service that's going to surpass Peacock. He actually has a competition where people, and he hates this word, we'll talk about this too, love wrestling. And he can't stand it. Because he's the same person, and he said it in his interview, the word wrestling doesn't get over. Because anybody can wrestle. He said that. I'm not making this up. He said it in the interview. Anybody can wrestle. Whether it's good or bad, doesn't matter. Some wrestlers are great, others are poor. But anybody can wrestle. Anybody can be a wrestler. Not everyone can be a superstar, let alone a WWE superstar. Okay, Vince. Sure. Because wrestlers can't be superstars, right? And that's another thing, too. No, not everyone can wrestle, Vince. Bullshit. I hate that. That's the rehearsed language we're talking about. Oh, not everybody can be a superstar, but everyone can be a wrestler. What? No. Hell no. Are you kidding me? You would never see me be a wrestler. I cannot. My body would crumble if I took one bump. Everyone can be a wrestler. What? What a way to cut down what these people do for a living. No, not everyone can be a wrestler, Vince. That's not true. But that's why he doesn't like AEW. Because AEW promotes itself as a wrestling promotion. And as a wrestling promotion, it stole a good portion of WWE's audience. More young people watch AEW than WWE. And he hates it. But see, I have to give some heat to Pat McAfee too. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin, he wasn't afraid to bring up the competition. He wasn't afraid to bring up NXT. He wasn't afraid to bring up Ring of Honor. He wasn't afraid to look Vince in his face. Hey man, what's going on with the network? Why is the network not doing so well? And Vince McMahon danced around it. He's like, I think it's doing great. I'm like, but dude, like you only got like 1.3 million. You got like 1.3 million subscribers. What the fuck is that bullshit? You got 4 million people watching you, but you got 1.3 million subscribers. What are you not doing? Austin wasn't afraid of Vince. Pat was scared. You can tell Pat was scared to lose his job. But yeah, he just tiptoed around the AEW question. It's crazy. Matter of fact, here's how he answers the question. He talked about Taker not leaving him and staying during the Monday Night Wars. Again, he does not give a shit about this product. The product we have now. He's always talking about the Attitude Era. He's always talking about Austin and Taker and Shawn. Bro, if you don't care about the modern day product, fine, leave it. Got on my nerves. Well, yeah, of course he's not going to mention freaking AEW. But okay, moving on from that, Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about the sweet Saudi money. McAfee brought out WWE working with Saudi Arabia, and Vince has noticed the country getting better in some areas. WWE has this. I don't want to even make it an exclusive mindset to like Vince McMahon. I think it's just the company as a whole. They really do feel like they're changing the world. They really do feel like they're taking a nation like Saudi Arabia that violates, and I mean violates, hundreds of human rights. If you walk into Saudi Arabia a gay man, they will kill you. Yeah. They will kill you for being gay in Saudi Arabia. Just so you know, that's one of the hundreds of millions of, I won't say millions, but hundreds of human rights violations they have over there. But they really do feel like they are making the world a better place. Because, well, they probably don't feel that way, but they have to justify it to themselves because they're making a lot of money. All you have to do is just say, look, it's business. It's business. But here's the answer that Vince McMahon said. Vince McMahon says he's known about the fans there for years, as WWE has had a presence there. He said people around the world love Western entertainment. They might not love our governments, but WWE fits in with everything as it's larger than life. And Saudi Arabia is no different. Bullshit! You don't love Saudi Arabia because of the fans? Bullshit! You love Saudi Arabia because of that sweet Saudi money. I'll go back to, I think it was 2018. When was it that the wrestlers were stuck over in Saudi Arabia? That was 2018, right? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go back to 2018 where Vince McMahon pulled the plug. He was going to pull the plug on syndication because they wasn't going to give him any money. He don't give a rat's ass about the Saudi Arabia fans. And I love all my fans. But I'm sorry to the Saudi Arabia fans watching me right now. If you think Vince McMahon cares about you, he doesn't. He cares about the money. He was going to pull that event if the Saudi Arabia prince didn't pay him. So stop lying and saying it's about the fans. We'll get to that in a second too. Oh, I'm going to go in on that. This whole Saudi Arabia situation has nothing to do with changing the world or the people. What he cares about is the money. This whole, we're changing the world one event at a time. If you wasn't getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars, would you really be over there? And unless Saudi Arabia goes to war with somebody, they ain't leaving them. Because they cut their deal with Russia. Of course they will. They'll cut their deal with Putin because Putin's going to war with Ukraine right now. But Saudi Arabia, nah, they cool. Despite the human rights violations that we have. Despite all that. Nah, we good. We Gucci. Here comes the money. Jesus Christ almighty. But whatever. I mean, I would really appreciate it more if Vince would just be honest. Just be honest. It's business. They're paying us money. And if anybody else paid us the same amount, we'd be over there too. Because if you're just doing it for the fans, why aren't you doing events in Japan? Why aren't you doing events in Australia? Aren't there fans over there as well? They did an event, one. Why aren't you doing more over there? All this talk about we go where the fans are. No, you go where the money is. Bullshit. Don't give me that. You go where the money is. I saw one event from Japan. Beast in the East. That's the only event. The only event I saw. And Japan is when COVID's not running rampant, Japan is a huge market for wrestling. Massive market. So is, Europe. But we'll talk about that in a second. This whole bullshit about Saudi Arabia doing it for the people. No, you're not. You're not changing society. You're not doing anything. You're just making a lot of money and you're dressing it up as you making changes to make yourself look good. Bullshit. You're doing it for the money. Quit lying. Let's talk about the people. Vince McMahon was asked about... Let me get the actual question first. Let me look it up. Basically, he was asked about how business is today versus back then. Like, what are talent missing? What is this generation missing that the past generation had? And here we go. You know this answer is coming. Vince McMahon tells them, well, I think what's important about our business is that we listen to our audience. You haven't listened to your audience in over a decade, Vince. Bullshit. It ain't about the audience. It never was about the audience anymore. It might have been when you were getting your ass kicked. Remember when I told you, and this is something too we have to understand. Anytime Vince is desperate and wants to win, now he wants to give the fans what they want. That's how you know that he's desperate. When he wants to give the fans what they want, it's because he's losing viewers and he's desperate. Because he wants to win. He hates losing. He'll do anything not to lose. He'll listen to you when he's losing. When he was getting his ass kicked by WCW, all right, now here comes the blood. Now here comes Austin. Now here comes Crash TV, women getting naked, bikini contests, hardcore matches, Mankind jumping off of a Hell in a Cell. But before then, oh my God. Go back and watch WWF 1993 to 1995. Mantar, Bastion, Booger. Very cartoony. Super cartoony. It ain't about the fans. And people back then hated the product. They could not stand it, but Vince was happy with it. I'm good. He's good. Vince only gives the fans what they want if it means he will win. So, in other words, I'll tell you what. When AEW gets more viewers, when AEW has gotten itself to a point where they're outselling WWE in terms of ticket sales, market share, they're selling out the pay-per-views, and more people are investing into them more than WWE. When Fox and USA Network tell WWE, we no longer want to work with you, we now want to work with AEW, that's when you'll start seeing TV 14 come back. That's when you'll start seeing more blood on WWE Raw. That's when you'll start seeing more edgy stuff, more edgy content, when they're trying to win, right? That's what happened to NXT. NXT, for the longest time, was the alternative. It was the alternative. And because it was the alternative and people were saying it was better than the main roster, Vince McMahon swooped in and said, okay, well, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to turn it into my vision, and I'm going to win with it. It's hilarious to me that this version, NXT 2.0, even when you watch it and you see all the good talent, this version of NXT right now is only getting a third of the audience that NXT used to get. Because when NXT was airing on the network, even when it was airing for 2 hours before AEW, it was getting over 1 million views. It was getting over 1 million. It wasn't like cracking 2 million. I don't think people cared about that. It had its own audience. An audience that allowed Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, freaking Sami Zayn, we'd be here all day, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair. It allowed them to outsell people on NXT. Bayley, one of the highest merchandise sellers ever in WWE, sold all of her merchandise on NXT. Not WWE, but NXT. Right? Vince hates that. He hates that. And that's why when he had the opportunity to completely crush Triple H's vision, he hopped on that shit. He hopped on it. Don't give me this bullshit that you listen to your audience. Because if you listen to your audience, NXT would have been the main roster. He would have moved everything they've done with NXT, moved it to the main roster. Triple H, you're in charge. You're in charge, Triple H. You run Raw and SmackDown. You hire whoever you want to do creative. I don't know what your vision is. I'm out of touch. You take over. You are now in charge of WWE. You and Stephanie. If he truly listened to the audience, bit his fucking tongue, got out of the goddamn way, I'll even say this. I'll say this right now. I don't think there would be an AEW. There would not be an AEW if Vince got out of the way. AEW exists because Vince McMahon refused to let go. AEW exists because Vince McMahon refuses to understand his audience now. AEW exists because Vince McMahon will not admit that he is out of touch. Because if he did, Cody would have stayed. Chris Jericho would have stayed. We might have kept Bryan Danielson. We definitely would have kept an Adam Cole. We would have kept Keith Lee. We would have kept all these talents. We would have kept them all. But the reason why Cody Rhodes left and helped start a promotion was because Vince McMahon couldn't see past himself. He doesn't understand the audience. He gives these interview answers, and this is what pisses me off about some of these people who say they love Vince McMahon and love WWE. Yes, he will answer the question perfectly. He will give you the right answers, but not live what he's talking about. Because he's good at interviews. Understand something. Vince McMahon's been doing this business 50 plus years. Back in the Attitude Era, when most of you started watching, me and you and me, we started watching when Stone Cold Steve Austin was on top, right? Vince McMahon was 52 years old. He was 52 years old. And that was 25 years ago. Yeah. So, that's when he was 52. He started the wrestling business in his 20s. So, add another 30 years to that. 50 plus years. He's heard these questions asked before. You don't think he hasn't been given Vince McMahon, man, how did you get to where you are? How do you become? You don't think he's been asked that before? You don't think he has an answer ready to go? Oh, Vince McMahon, how do you feel about the modern day generation? You don't think we listen to our audience. People just, oh, that was a good answer. That's that. Sheep, dolphins, seals. He'll give you great answers, but he won't practice what he preaches. And that's my fucking issue. That's my issue. You look at Raw every week. You see the rematches. You see the lack of storytelling. You see no stars being created. You see the same shit, same formulaic bullshit every single goddamn week. And you want to tell me he listens to his audience? He doesn't give a fuck about us. He cares about one person, Vince McMahon, and pleasing the people who are going to put money in his fucking pockets. Jeez Louise. Oh, he cares about the audience. He don't give a fuck about us. And I would appreciate him a lot more if he was just honest about it. I don't give a fuck about the audience. All I care about is making money. My man, I understand. I understand. And no offense, y'all. If I was making, Miss Teresita, I love you. New Japan Pro Wrestling girl, I love you. Millie Kills, I hate you, but I'm glad you're here. King Elvis, Sam 3, Amazing Travis. I appreciate y'all for making me a part of your day. But I'm gonna let you know right now, so there's no confusion. If I get $1 million tomorrow, you will never see me again. You will never see me again. You will never see me again. I will go away. I will say, fuck humanity. Fuck all you crazy sons of bitches. I'm gonna get me a nice house on the hills. I'm gonna invest my money in stocks. And you will never, ever see me again. Because the ultimate goal for my life is to be alone. I want to get to a point where I'm financially secure and just live. I like talking. I like doing this YouTube thing. But every once in a while, I just kind of think, if I had $1 million, would I keep doing it? Not really. I'll do it every once in a while. But, like, on a regular basis? Nah, man. This is a job to me. Hey, I'm just saying, I love y'all. But y'all know it's true. Miss Teresita, don't give me that damn. Hey, Miss Teresita, if I gave you $1 million right now, would you be here or would you be spending it? Exactly. Hush. I love y'all, but if I get $1 million, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm just saying that right now. I love y'all though. New Japan Pro Wrestling girl, you gonna leave me just like that? New Japan Pro Wrestling girl, if you got $1 million, you be cussing out every single person in this live chat. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck y'all, fuck you, sir, fuck you, sir, fuck. You know, you be cussing up people, cussing up a storm, and they bullshit. I'm just saying. I love y'all though. Anyways. In reality, I completely understand where Vince McMahon's coming from. I just wish he was transparent. You already know. Sam 3 says, loyalty gets you to the guest house. Look, in all reality, honestly, I'm serious when I say this. If I become a millionaire, I would probably still be doing this. I would still be creating video content. I'll still be coming up here saying hi to y'all. And y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know I'm just playing with you. Yeah, you know damn well, if I get $1 million, if y'all got $1 million, like, would you really, truly, 1000% give a damn about what anyone says? You know what I mean? Would you really give a damn? No, you just live your life and be around people you like to be around. Like, real talk, if money wasn't an issue, and Miss Teresita said a great statement, money is just a thing. If money wasn't an issue, you know, you would just hang around people you want to be around. I like being around y'all. Like, real talk, and I'm saying this real. I love everybody here. Like, I feel like this is a good environment for everyone. Like, we come in, I don't know if y'all drink alcohol, wine, beer, whatever. I feel like every time I come up here, it's like going into a room where I can just chill. We turn on some wrestling, we all watch and react to it. We pass around, I don't know if you do edibles, I don't, but, you know, we just chill, man. And then you tell live stories, we vent, and then we go home. Like, that's the environment I like. That's the environment I live in. So, I can't really hate on Vince for not giving a damn. What I hate on is this idea that he's putting on that he does. Just be honest, dude. Be transparent. Be completely 1000% honest with us, and we would respect you a lot more. I'm just saying. But, let's talk about his family. Well, let's move on to this. This was crazy because Pat McAfee did ask him. What did he say? Michael Cole was brought up. Oof. And he did ask him about. Let me see. Actually, let me go through this really quickly. I want to be sure I got the right one. McAfee asks, at what point was the future... Alright, yeah, this is it. I found it. Pat McAfee asked Vince McMahon, at what point was the future of WWE brought to him? And was he not happy with that because maybe it was broached that WWE wouldn't be his? Pat said the future of WWE is a topic outside of WWE, very loudly. He asked if, when that was brought up to him, was he pissed or what? So Vince McMahon said he doesn't think about it a lot. If you've built something, you should want it to grow and prosper, with or without a family member. His view is that the business is best for everybody, whether you're a part of it or not. He said you have to look at family members like everyone else. And he's probably expected more from his family. He said you have the right to do you have the right thing to do. You gotta do the right thing for business. And if this person isn't working out, they shouldn't be part of the company. So he wasn't very nice about his family members. I don't know if there's something going on with him and Triple H. I'm assuming this is more having to do with ego. Yeah. NXT was a better product, and Vince is like, how dare you make a better product than me? I'm also assuming that he's very upset with Shane for leaving him, for walking out. They're probably having a tit for tat right now because remember, there was an issue with the Royal Rumble. They're probably still angry with each other. Yeah, man, like Vince is not happy with his family right now. I'm very curious to know what's going on there. He won't mention it. But the last thing we're going to talk about though is the talent releases, the cuts, the budget cuts. And this one, my goodness. You would think, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm trying to find it. Sorry about that. Okay. This one here. This one right here is just one of those things where Vince for real, like just straight up say you do not like wrestling. That's it. You don't like wrestling. And you don't like people you don't create. That's all. Well, yeah, Pat McAfee did mention people being released. He's like, dude, you released a lot of these people this past year. Like, like what's different about the business now? And you can already see where this is going. Vince McMahon is going to get the typical, well, sometimes when you're creative, on paper, it looks great. But then when they go out and do it, sometimes it doesn't work out. And sometimes if it doesn't work out, you realize it's not good for business. Nothing personal. It just doesn't work out for you. And this is where he gives the whole, sometimes we talk about wrestlers and superstars. Anybody can be a wrestler. No one can be a superstar. And he contributed that to all of these releases. Once again, I just wish he would be more transparent. You did these releases because you're trying to save money. You're trying to save money because whether it's to sell, maybe that's, again, we don't know what the real reason is behind the big releases. It could be to sell to Disney. Or it could be he just simply did not like any of the talent. I've always thought about that too. People just think, well, he's trying to sell. Maybe he just didn't like them. Just thought about that. He didn't like the talent. He doesn't like them there. He doesn't want them to be there. He just feels like this is just not the place for them. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I have a hard time believing a Keith Lee could not get over in WWE. I have a hard time believing Jon Moxley could not have been the star that he is. I have a hard time believing a Cody Rhodes could not have been a big star. We'll talk about Cody tomorrow. I did see the news about him in WWE. I can talk about it in the live, the post-show hangout, but we'll do a big video on it tomorrow. But, like, an Adam Cole should have been a world champion in WWE. Bryan Danielson should have never left. CM Punk, if he was going to come back, it should have been with WWE. But we got to be honest with ourselves here. These people, and there's more that are getting ready to, they're leaving. They want nothing to do with WWE because WWE wants nothing to do with wrestling anymore. You can just tell that they're doing everything they can to get away from wrestling. But the only thing Vince has been good at, and the irony of it all, the biggest irony of it all, the one thing Vince has been good at is wrestling. And he hates it. And now he sees AEW come out of the woodworks and be good at it and do everything that he's doing and actually be competition with the people he released. Oh, man. And y'all wonder why he hates AEW. It's bad enough when you have the talent, you try it out, and it doesn't work. But then they go over to AEW, and they work. Oh, that's gotta do a fucking 180 and you're good. I know he's kicking himself watching all these talent go do great things in other wrestling shows. And now you have Tony Khan purchasing Ring of Honor. Oh, that's more competition. Oh, great. So I don't know. I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but I'm almost certain that whatever they're doing, whatever they're saving the money for, it wouldn't be worth it. They didn't need to cut all these people. They didn't. You just wanted to. I just wish you were more transparent. We're going in a different direction. These guys do not meet the mold that we want. Okay. So, again, it was a good interview if you're looking at it from a different perspective. If you're looking at it from life lessons and how to be a millionaire, I'm pretty sure you liked the interview. But if you're looking for Vince to talk about the current product, if you're looking for him to talk about AEW, if you're looking for him to talk about Saudi Arabia, if you're looking for Pat McAfee to actually asking the hardcore questions, this wasn't it. It was a very softball interview. And, you know, it's sad to say, but this will most likely be the last interview we get from Vince in this type of environment. And I wish we had someone to ask him the hard questions. And we don't. So, yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts. That's how I feel about Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee's interview. Give me your thoughts. Like, how did y'all feel about it? Like, real talk, I want to get your thoughts on it. Like, let me know down below in the comments and in the live chat. What are your views on this? And y'all can roast me about my comment about if I had $1 million, I would have left y'all. So, let me play these super chats and then we'll get to the live chat.
Yup, that was me. Appreciate the shout out.
Zachary Hain, I need to come up with a nickname for you. Zach. What can I do with Zach? I don't know. Mastodon! Zachary Hain. That doesn't work. We'll find something out.
The question now is, who inducts Vince?
Ooh. His family, Hulk Hogan, or Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's it. Those are the only people that I know that can induct him. Good question, though.
'Cause you are my love. Do you ever dream of rain?
Rolling on the floor laughing, I'm stealing that quote. Never heard of the 3 Fs. Feeding, funding, effing. I'm definitely gonna steal that.
You're welcome.
Rolling on the floor laughing.
You're welcome. If they're not feeding you, funding you, or fucking you, their opinions don't matter. You're welcome. You all can use that. You are welcome. I think that's all of them, right? I feel like that's a... Yeah. Oh, no, it's not.
If WWE bought Raw, would have been dead and buried.
Okay, well, it certainly would have. Uh-oh, I might have done something wrong here. So we had a live chat going, so I think I might have accidentally gotten rid of a lot of it. So I'm gonna let y'all just go ahead and fill that back up on this end. But I will, I'll start answering your questions to what I asked in just a second. Brian McNeil says, I'm being worked by Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon actually loves wrestling. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sure. Right, because, you know, it clearly shows in his product, right? Vince McMahon loves characters and storytelling. He does not love wrestlers. He doesn't. Well, let me see here. Malik Hiltz, nah, I bought Uber Eats with the money, sorry, bud. What you talking about Uber Eats for? See, this is why I don't like this dude. He ain't here talking about Uber Eats when I asked him a question. Come on, man. Let me see here. Mick Foley said it best. WWE is no longer the place to be. Period. New Japan Pro Wrestling girl. Nailed it. Yes, ma'am. I agree. Well, she preaching. AEW is their karma. Sorry to say it, but it's the truth. It is. It is. What the hell is this? My perception of this interview is completely flawed because I actually hate Vince. I don't hate Vince. I don't hate Vince. I don't. Zachary Hayne, I'm gonna quote him, but he's right. Like Vince McMahon is like that cup of milk with a fly in it. That's Vince McMahon. If the fly wasn't in it, you drink the cup of milk. If Vince McMahon wasn't in creative, we'd be good, right? We'd be good. We'd be Gucci. That's the issue. Okay, people are asking me about Cody Rhodes. All right, I guess I gotta talk about it. So, it was reported that Cody Rhodes is... Hold on for a minute. I want to be sure that the internet's strong. Is the internet strong, y'all? It's a little weak. Okay, it's good now. It was a little weak for 2 seconds. So... a report came out that talks between Cody Rhodes and WWE have fizzled out. He is no longer talking to WWE. I told y'all. If I'm proven right, I will laugh and I will cackle loudly. But everyone was like, well, Cody Rhodes is going to WWE. No, he's not. I don't think he was ever going to WWE. Now, the talks of him leaving AEW, I thought it was like one of these works where he's going to pretend to leave and then come back with a WWE mindset. Now I think it's something different. I believe now, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, the plan is to have Cody Rhodes lead ROH. He wants to play Triple H and build a new generation in ROH. I think that's what they're going to do. Malik Hilt says, don't worry, your internet's strong, but you weak. Bruh, you know what's not weak? This right hand coming upside your head. That ain't weak. I want to put this strong head upside your weak ass head, boy. Calling me weak. What's wrong with you? Let's see here. When Jake the Snake Roberts put an analogy, let me see what he's about to say here. When Jake the Snake Roberts told Vince Steve Austin was his next star, he laughed in his face. Yeah, that is true. Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, like Jake Roberts, he did tell Vince that your next star is going to be Austin, and Austin became the biggest star.
'Cause you are my love. Do you ever dream of friends?
You're welcome again, and I give everyone here full use of that analogy. I'm not rich enough to file a trademark lol.
Cool. Because I'm going to steal it, boy. I'm going to steal it. But yeah, I think Cody is going to run ROH. I don't think he was ever going to WWE. I think he was just doing it to create buzz. He did it to create buzz and to get people talking. So wherever he goes next, the people's eyes will be on it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Miss Teresita, oh, now family members for $1 million, I'd be deucing the majority of them out. Aw. So basically, if you were a millionaire, you would stick with me? Miss Teresita, you would give me some money from the $1 million? You have a great heart. You are a great person, and I wish you nothing but kindness and prosperity in your life. I'm going to pull a Vince McMahon and give you great interview answers to your questions. That's what I'm going to do. That's really, really nice. Malik Hills, we doing edibles? Say less. You doing edibles. I am a clean, wholesome person that doesn't need vices. Yeah, right. I'll be drinking. I drink. I don't be doing no edibles, though. You know what I mean? Malik Hills, honestly, I disagree with Pat having to ask Vince the hard-hitting questions. It just sadly wasn't that kind of an interview. I mean, it wasn't, but we'll see. Someone asked me to talk about Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves. Hell, why? It's a waste of time. If you're gonna have Pat McAfee on the show, let it be a big marquee name. Don't just throw him against Corey Graves. Ew! What that? Travis, the sex god Johnson, says, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a waste of time. Okay, Mr. Sex God. Are you giving your own nickname? Okay. Interesting. Adam Ritter, what are edibles? Are they like cookies? Yes. Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we basically got the gist of it. So, again, we'll be back up here tomorrow for SmackDown, Rampage, and we'll talk Cody and Nia Jax. Yes, we will talk Nia Jax tomorrow, I swear. But, yeah, we got a big week ahead of us. I will see you guys tomorrow and then Sunday. A quick reminder, Nickname I will be defending his belt this Sunday. So he better be there, otherwise... But he will be there because that's what he does. He defends the belt. Now, give me your thoughts about Vince, Pat McAfee down below. Thank you guys for watching. I'm about to deuce out because I'm tired. I just finished watching The Batman, and we're talking about it tomorrow on the Raw Cognizance podcast. You're going to get my thoughts then. So look forward next week when it comes out. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Peace.